Nikola Jokic is on the verge of doing something not even Micael Jordan or LeBron James can say they have done. Hey guys, my name is Micael Jordan, and before I jump into this video, I just want to ask you guys to give me the HBO special. That is the Help a Brother Out, and you can do that by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like underneath this video. I'm not one for long intros, so let's jump back into this video. Nikola Jokic is one of the most underrated players I've ever witnessed in all my years of watching the NBA. And I've said it in the past before, I think that Nikola Jokic is the most disrespected MVP ever. And he's about to add to his already impressive resume and join an exclusive club of very elite company. Nikola Jokic is currently the reigning MVP, and even more impressive than that, he is the current reigning back-to-back MVP. One of the only modern players to have that honors, joining the ranks of LeBron James, Steph Curry, and recently Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's the last player to win the MVP back-to-back since Giannis. But to his detriment, he doesn't get the same respect that Giannis Antetokounmpo gets, as being one of the most skilled players in the NBA. At least not from the NBA media, that is, because there are people around the league that acknowledge just how good this guy really is. And now Nikola Jokic is about to be the first player to three-peat the MVP trophy since 1984. If he does so, he will join a club of 4 players, including himself, to accomplish this feat. And he will be the first person to do so since Micael Jordan entered the league all the way back in 1984. Yes, that was Micael Jordan's rookie year. Think about that for a second. For all the years that Micael Jordan's been in the league, for like the last 40 plus years, no one has done this since. The last person to do it was Larry Bird. And the other players in this club are Wilt Chamberlin and Bill Russell. Not even Micael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Dirk Nowitzki or anyone else can claim they have accomplished this feat. And it is very hard to do this. Do not think it's easy. The reason it is because the NBA voters, the people that vote for awards, they have what's called voters fatigue. They rarely ever vote a player to be MVP more than 3 years in a row, unless they are just amazing consistently for 3 years. And that is what Nikola Jokic has been doing for the last 3 years. And to me, it is such a huge accomplishment. But because Nikola Jokic is overlooked by the NBA media, I feel like this feat is being overlooked. I haven't heard any sports writer talk about this feat. Currently, in the last Kia NBA MVP leaderboards, Nikola Jokic is listed as the favorite. And this is as of January 8th, 2023. This year's MVP race has been very entertaining to watch, mainly because there's been so many changes in the first place spot. The main culprits for the leadership have been Jayson Tatum, who started off the season scorching hot due to how well his Boston Celtics were performing. The Boston Celtics came out swinging, looking for revenge for losing the NBA Finals in June of last year, and Jayson Tatum was at the helm, leading them and performing incredibly well, and that garnered him a #1 spot in the MVP leader race for a few months. He held the top spot for a few months, but then of course Giannis Antetokounmpo took the spot from him and led the race for a while, because over the Christmas holidays, the Boston Celtics went through a slump in which they lost like 4 of their 5 games, and they lost the #1 spot to the Milwaukee Bucks. They've recently gotten it back, but that is what hurt Jayson Tatum as MVP favorite. And speaking of, Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the huge favorites for the MVP, and he has been so for the past 5 years. He's consistently in a top 5 for MVP every year. So it is no surprise that we find him again competing for the MVP, because I think Giannis Antetokounmpo has been one of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA for the past 3 years. And this has helped him become the favorite for MVP in the Eastern Conference. And in the Western Conference is Ja Morant. Ja Morant found media love after last year's NBA playoffs when he went up against the Golden State Warriors, and he was heralded as a rival to Steph Curry. In my opinion, I think he's been subpar for all the expectations that's been put on him, and that's due to his Memphis Grizzlies not performing up to the standard that we thought they would. For example, they lost to a Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors team, a Chris Paul-less and Devin Booker-less Phoenix Suns team, and a Jamal Murray-less Denver Nuggets team. In my opinion, you can't lose to all of these guys and still be the favorite for the MVP, mainly because these teams are the rivals and are fighting the Memphis Grizzlies for the top spot in the Western Conference, and mainly because of the remarks that Ja Morant came out and spewed and said that he's not worried about anybody in the West. To say that and then to be beaten by all these teams when they're not at their full strength, I think it docks him. But there is still competition in the Western Conference for the MVP trophy. Luka Doncic has also been a big name in the MVP race, and he has just been phenomenal this year. He has been carrying the Dallas Mavericks all year long, and he's been a monster all season long. Nothing can stop this guy. They throw any and everything at Luka Doncic, and it doesn't stop him. Currently, he's averaging a whopping 33 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game, and 8.5 assists per game. I think he might also win the scoring title for this year. He's just off the chain. He is so good. In my opinion, I think him, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jayson Tatum are in battle for being the best player in the NBA. And I think that were it not for his team being the 4th seed in the Western Conference, he would probably be the favorite to win the MVP trophy. It's just his team is the 4th in the Western Conference. A Western Conference that is tough, that has the Golden State Warriors struggling to claim a playoff berth. But Nikola Jokic has basically had this MVP race in a chokehold. And to be honest, it doesn't surprise me. Earlier this year, before the season started, I made a video warning and heralding that the NBA should be worried and should look out for the monster that is the Denver Nuggets. I warned that if the Denver Nuggets stay healthy, if they have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., they should be considered the favorites to go to the NBA Finals from the West, and they are doing exactly that. They are living up to that expectation. I watched the Denver Nuggets last year in the NBA playoffs. They went up against the Golden State Warriors in the first round, and I already knew. I thought to myself, if this Nuggets team had Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., they would have beaten the Golden State Warriors and they would have went to the NBA Finals. And they are proving that this year. They're so good. These guys are so good. I thought that the way Nikola Jokic was playing last year, basically able to carry his team to a playoff berth without his co-stars of Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I think that's what won him the MVP trophy last year. LeBron James wasn't able to carry the Lakers to a playoff berth. He wasn't even able to carry them to the play-in tournament. That goes to show you how good Nikola Jokic has been. And with the return of Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., I feel bad for other teams in the Western Conference. Like Ja Morant goes around saying that he's not worried about anybody in the Western Conference. I think that's a lie. You have the Denver Nuggets to worry about. And speaking of, before Christmas, the Denver Nuggets beat the Memphis Grizzlies to take the #1 seed away from them. And they've held the #1 seed in the Western Conference since then. And Nikola Jokic has been the one to thank. He is the linchpin for that team. He is the guy that makes it all work. The guy is a basketball genius. I think I can't gush about Nikola Jokic enough. I love watching this guy play. He's not too flashy besides the passing. He is the best player on the Denver Nuggets, and he does everything superbly. He is a passing savant. He is a seer of the floor, a facilitator, and a scorer, all packaged into one, and has the basketball IQ of that of LeBron James, that of Luka Doncic, mainly because he's played in Europe. He grew up in a different system. I think he is just one of the best NBA players I think we've ever seen, especially for his height. The things that he does, he passes like he's Steve Nash. He scores like he's LeBron James. He sees the floor like he's Stephen Curry. The things that he does at his height, I don't think any big man can hold a candle to Nikola Jokic in terms of skills. And it shows this year. He's averaging nearly a triple-double. He's averaging 25 points per game, 10.8 rebounds a game, and 9.7 assists per game. That's a double-double, nearly a triple-double. And unlike Russell Westbrook's triple-doubles, these are not empty numbers. These are in winning efforts. He is doing so and winning. He is doing so his team can win. This is not stat padding. And for that, that's why he's leading the MVP race. But yes, guys, those are just my thoughts on Nikola Jokic. If you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like underneath this video. And until next time, kids.